Back when I first got serious about golf, the very first putter in my bag was the Odyssey. And it's so cool to see that brand continue to thrive and grow and change and innovate as all part of the Callaway family. And Austin Rollinson's going to check in with us to bring us up to speed on the world of putters. So does my original Odyssey still hold a special spot in anybody's heart at Callaway? That old blade with the white insert, I love that thing.
That was one of my first Odyssey putters that I did when coming on board. So yeah, it's still special, and that insert in there is still relevant today. A lot of tour pros still love the feel of it, and it's one that we try to hold up as the one we've got to be better than.
How long have you been at Callaway?
25 years I've been at Callaway.
Well, when you put in a quarter of a century at a place, not only do you get a better parking spot, but you have seen innovation completely transform. The old 180-degree turnaround. What has changed in the world of putters in a quarter century?
I think the shape of putters. So when I first started, we had some little mallets, but a lot of them were just blade putters, either cast. Most of them were cast. Mill putters hadn't really come into, though actually Callaway made one of the first CNC putters ever produced. So we had some small putters, but just the shape, the two ball was one that kind of opened their eyes, kind of like Big Bertha and Great Big Bertha did on drivers, of what was possible in the design of putters.
As golfers, we're all such head cases that putting is probably the most subjective part of equipment, right? It's got to have the feel for that particular golfer. So I know that that's expanded your menu over the years.
Right.
A little bit of everything depending on what your eye needs and body type and all that. So what's hot rolling off the presses these days?
We've got, you talk about feel, we've got several lines of putters, two main ones with the Odyssey putters and now with the Toulon Design putters that we acquired a few months back, to give really two distinctive looks and distinctive feels for the golfer. So we have our new O-Works line of putters, which has our new micro hinge insert, which from a feel standpoint will feel very much like your white inserted white hot, but adding some technology with the micro hinges in it to really help engage the ball and in a way to put more topspin on the ball. So great feel and great roll, and that's kind of one of the buzzwords now that is getting that ball rolling smoother so you putt more consistently.
Well, that ability to measure that only came about in the last few years in the SAM putting labs, or you can measure to a 5 decimal places the variances in the stroke.
Right.
I'm guessing when you first started 25 years ago, you were eyeballing most of what was taking place.
Right. I mean, when I first started 25 years ago, one of my jobs was enhancing our testing capability. And so high-speed videos weren't really around. If you did, they cost a fortune. And also analyzers to measure ball launch, like some of the TrackMan type system. We had to invent our own. We had to develop our own systems for a radar-based system for measuring golf balls and a camera-based system for measuring launch and spin. And that's really where the industry has gone to from a footing standpoint and from an R&D standpoint. In drivers and irons, you have to have a TrackMan, it seems, to get really well fit. Putters as well. There's some camera-based systems that we have bought from people that build them in the marketplace, and we have to build our own sometimes to get the fidelity we want, to be able to see exactly what's happening, to be able to make sure it's doing what we think it's doing and what the benefit of that is.
And in the grand scheme of things, it all ends up in the bag of the consumer who has that wonderful round experience, and they realize that the investment they made in the putter that you helped be a part of, it's the circle of life, right? It's the whole thing comes around. Help them enjoy this game, which can often be frustrating, but when you have those breakthroughs, it's really addicting at the end.
It is. I mean, for me as a designer, to be able to come here to the PGA show, and you'll talk to not only customers that have great experience about selling the product, but people, consumers that say, "Oh, I love that." I have that old putter that I just love the feel of, and it gives you a sense of pride that the hard work you put into making that really brings joy to people's lives, and the tour interaction with the PGA professionals is on another level because they're appreciative because they're making some money. It's their livelihood. Yeah.
Well, in many ways, you've been a part of my golf experience for quite some time. I
Yes.
just found out today. So thanks for your work in the world of putters, and keep going strong, because we're never going to get this game right. So anything you can do to help will be much appreciated.
I always say, thank goodness this is a hard game, because it keeps me in business.